It depends on what your biblical perspective of it is. I don't condemn it or I don't condone it because I come to the conclusion people are people and people gonna do what people gonna do. But I just checked this video and people need to know that there's some people in America that still got this view when it comes to interracial marriage. I'm gonna let you see here is on this woman's page. But I'm gonna let you check out the video. Then I'm gonna do my commentary. It's not very long. It's like 20 minutes. But I'm gonna let you listen to the video, and then I'm gonna spray my commentary.
Fulfilling prophecy. The prophecies that say that we will be few in number, that our numbers would diminish, and that our people will be downtrodden. In every area that we go in, we are going to be the least. And we are that self-fulfilling prophecy because we do things that are completely opposite to our spiritual and physical resurrection. You see, as a people, we are the lowest of the low. This was prophesied. And what's sad is many think that they are improving themselves when they do things outside of the will of the Father. Unfortunately, too many of us, we believe it to be racist on the part of people like myself and others who have something to say about interracial dating, marrying, and breeding. You see, I have nothing against people in general. I know a lot of people of many races and cultures, and I have nothing against people. I have nothing against interracial people, but the problem is this. There is something that is not being spoken about because of political correctness. Okay? Listen, family. It's time for us to understand that the way back to the Most High is through repentance. And we cannot continue to do the works that causes Him to be angry at us to begin with. You see? And there was a video done by a Gentile pastor by the name of Reagan. I forget his first name. If I remember, I will share that clip. Okay? But in this video, as a matter of fact, I am going to share the clip. And so I'll be back with my commentary after he's done with his.
It's a beautiful thing! Not holy, not wonderful, and everybody should do it. Friends, it's worldly. Why is it so many black basketball stars, black football stars, black baseball stars want a white wife? Why? Lord have mercy. It's another defiance of God's law. It is a worldly way. And then it creeps over into the message. Tell me what's the difference in preaching against bob hair, painted face, shorts, all this, that, and other, being worldly, and we let this worldly means come right in, and we're afraid to say one thing about it. And let me tell you right up front, you young people, you want to marry a black man, you girls, don't ask me to do it, because I will not. I refuse. I cannot do it with a conscience toward God and look these quotes in the face. You white brothers, you find a black sister, you want to marry an African or whatever, more Donnie, I'll quit church, suit yourself. I'd rather you quit than me get in trouble with God. Well, glory.
Okay, so now you've seen his clip and you've seen what he said. Now, rewind 20 years ago, I may have said, oh, he's incredibly racist, what's his problem, right? But in retrospect, now that I know what the word of the Most High says, Everything this man said is true. It is true. And you cannot argue with the truth. And for those who believe that he is being, now, from his perspective, it's quite possible he's thinking, well, we are such low lives that he wouldn't want to see Gentiles marry our people in the first place. He's probably thinking of it from a racial perspective. But from a biblical perspective, with our people being the true Israelites, being the true seed of Jacob, or the seed of Israel, then he is absolutely correct. We were commanded not to do that. We were commanded not to marry outside of our race. Now, the Most High has his reasons. Now, you can disagree with his reasons all you want, but that does not change the narrative. It does not change the command. And as I often say, it is what it is. It is what it is, family. Now, when people do step outside of his will, I must say this because a lot of people get confused. When people do step outside of his will and there are children born, the scripture does say that the children that are born of the stranger can take hold of the covenant if they follow after the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High Yah. But that does not give you a green light to go out and break the commandments. As the man of Israel or the daughter of Zion, you don't go out and intentionally do this because the matters of the heart will be weighed out by the Most High. And if that was your intention, you knew that something wasn't supposed to be done, but you did it anyway, those matters of your heart will be examined when you stand before the Most High. But just as I've stated, the children that are born of them, the scripture says that they are able to take hold of the covenant. Yes, that is what it says. It is what it is, family. But the real push is not to try to see what you can get away with, okay? Because many people did not know before they entered into these unions and bore children with people of other races. They did not know, you see. But when you know, you are responsible for what you know, you see. And so although this man may have been coming from a racist perspective, he was telling the truth as to what the scripture says. Now, one thing that I wanted to expound on about us being a self-fulfilling prophecy and set for self-destruction. Both our men and our women seem to think that stepping outside of us or going to another race for marriage and producing children and all of that, starting a family, many of our people believe that that is an upgrade. You don't understand who you are. You are the seed of Israel. You already have an established royalty in your bloodline. But you believe that going outside of yourself is an improvement, a step up, a bettering of your race. Now, I in no way intend to put anyone down. For centuries, these people have been putting us down as if we are tainting their blood when it was them who were coming in unto the black women producing these third races, right? But when you look at what scripture says, for whatever reason the Most High wanted to keep himself a people unto himself. You see, he has every right to do that because he created all of us. He is of all of us, you see. And when black men and black women step outside of themselves and go and establish a lineage outside of who they are, and they believe that that is an improvement, they are actually sinning against Torah. Now, you have those who have rewritten the scriptures and come up with their own narrative and rethought things out and reanalyzed this, that, and the other, when it was already very clear what the Most High intended. You see, he already made himself clear. And so coming up with your own narrative, establishing your own righteousness, giving your own explanation for what something means or what the Most High meant when he said this, that, and the other, that's not going to change your circumstances when you stand before him. As a matter of fact, the book of Jubilee is very scary to me. It talks about those who have done this and how they have committed an abomination against the Most High, and how their name could actually be stricken from the book of life. That in and of itself is frightening. That is frightening. And so, we as a people, it is very, very unfortunate that we continue to ignore the fact that we are diminishing our own selves. If we were to continue in the way that we were, if the Most High didn't step in, He said, except I shorten the days, no flesh will be saved. Because we are whiting ourselves out. No offense to anyone, but we are whiting our own selves out, because there have been both black men and black women who have said verbally with their own mouths that they don't want children looking like them. So, what do you think, you're hideous or something? And you think you have to step outside of your race to improve who you are? No, you actually diminish your own seed line. You cut yourself off right at the ankles. No, at the knees. You've cut yourself off at the knees. When you do that, you're not increasing yourself. I mean, look at the Jackson family. And a lot of his brothers. When you look at their family pictures, they are like spots of pepper in salt.
What's pepper
The
salt?
Jackson family, for the most part, is no more. They have whited their own selves out. Now, let me go a little bit deeper than that. Okay? I hate to keep saying I'm not trying to be racist, because people are so sensitive. I mean, the real racism is what happens to our people on a daily basis. But when we talk about these true facts, oh, we're the racists. I'm not a hateful person at all, and there are both black and white people who can confirm that to you, that I'm not a racist person at all. First of all, I can't be racist, and I'm not even a bigoted person, because I know that enemies come in black and white. You see, I've experienced both. So I don't discriminate. When it comes to an enemy, you are who you are, regardless to your color. See, when it comes to a friend, you are who you are, regardless to your color. But let me tell you what some of our people are doing, who think that they're improving themselves or improving their bloodline or lineage when they marry someone of another race. Let me tell you what they're doing. You are taking all those millions that you've earned, and what you don't realize in your ignorance is that when your behind dies off, all of that money and wealth that was in your pocket bounces right back out of the black community, right back to where it originated in the white community, because of the ignorance that swirls around in your brain. We are the only people who happily bounces money right back out of our community. It bounces once, maybe twice, and then bounces right back out the door. Everyone else, every other racial group, even the pygmy people in some remote island somewhere, know how to keep what they have within themselves. But we so-called black people, and I'm going to say specifically the tribe of Judah, you just bounce any bit of money or wealth or riches you have right back out the door. You don't hang around. You don't dribble it around like 100 times, like bounce, 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 dribble, 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 bounce, 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 bounce. You bounce it right out. Bounce out. You bounce it right out the door as soon as it gets in your pocket. That is an ignorance that has attached itself to our people to the point where I don't think there is any hope in that regard. I don't think there is any hope, because we happily bounce our money right out the door, whether it's spending it on frivolous things or marrying someone outside of our race. So when your children marry, think they're going to marry somebody looking like you? 9 times out of 10, or should I say most of the time, I can't say 9 times out of 10, but most of the time when you have someone who marries outside of their race and then they have children that are mixed, those children then get whited out even further. It's rare that they go back to the black community to find spouses. Very rare. I mean, even looking at Tia and Tamara, you had one who married black, one who married white. Look at Halle Berry. She tried both sides, but when she finally had children, it was with a white man. think their daughter's going to grow up and marry a black man? I think there's a snowball's chance in hell, but maybe she will. Who knows? It's kind of hard to say. Most of the time, the whiting out process continues in the direction of white because we despise ourselves so much as a people. Everyone else is trying to get our color through tanning, but we're trying to get rid of our color. We despise the melanin that was given to us for protection because something has idiot-outed our mind. Yes, I just made that word up. Idiot out our mind to the point where we think everything else is an improvement. You have no idea. To frown upon your melanin, it's just like wishing your heart came out of your chest. Do you understand the protection that melanin provides for you? But yet you despise it and is trying to deplete it out of your body, trying to melanin out yourself, trying to white out yourself. You want to get rid of the melanin. They want some of it and you're trying to get rid of it. That's because something has happened to your brain, to your mind, to where you think of it as a curse. Someone told you it was a curse and you believed them. This is why our people can't think straight, because they have been whited out mentally. Whited out mentally to the point where they are willingly giving over their wealth to their oppressors in so many different ways. Even marrying into the oppressor's bed, having children, whiting yourself out more and more, thinking that you have improved your bloodline. You are sadly mistaken. Both our men and our women are falling for these traps. I hate to even have to have these kind of conversations because there are people that I love that just happen to be mixed and may not even understand this conversation. I'm coming from a biblical perspective, talking about being in obedience to the Most High Yah. So we all have to lay our feelings at the door whenever truth is coming forth. You see, whenever truth comes forth, we just have to accept it for what it is. That is what we must do. You see, because at the end of the day, it is what it is. And if we're going to reach some type of position of repentance with the Most High, where He can turn away this wrath that He's poured out on our people, then we are going to have to accept the truth for what it is. This is not the only truth we have to accept. This is just one that I'm speaking about. You know, someone shared that video that Gentile pastor spoke on, and, you know, people were calling him racist and all this stuff and saying that he was wrong for the things that he was saying. Unfortunately, this time I must agree with him. He was absolutely right. According to Scripture, we are not supposed to cross over. But get this, though. Get this. For those of you who think I'm being racist, listen to this. This is not even an issue of black and white, because Israelites, who are black people, were not even permitted to marry the children of Africa, who are black people too. So this is not a color thing. You see, they were not even permitted to marry the children of Ham, who were black. They were not permitted to marry the children of Moab, who were black. And at some point, there was a law even established, although this law was established for the reason of inheritance. It had nothing to do with it being an abomination. But there was a law later established that we couldn't even marry outside of our tribe. And that was because of an issue of inheritance, not an issue of abomination. You see. So when we learn to accept these truths, family, we can truly repent and come up off of our high horses, where we think we want to reject things because it's coming. You can't kill the messenger, because the message is still going to be the same. You can get rid of the messenger all you want. The message will remain the same. The truth is going to remain the truth, because it is what it is, family. Okay, I think I've said enough, because I've covered this subject many times before, but I just wanted to talk about this, minister who had his words to say about black marriage to white people. Okay, and with that I will say shalom. Bye-bye.
Well, I'm gonna tell you from my perspective. People gonna do what people gonna do. There's certain points that she said that's true. That's in that about Bible is true, and it's about black people is true. And we do. There's a segment of black people that do have self-hate for themselves. That's true. Because I've heard that, I've heard it from black people too, that they don't want something darker than a brown paper bag. This is coming from black people, so she's right about that. Because they want to make a kind of like a light skin thing. You have some black people that's stuck on some stuff like that. However, I'm gonna show you just a picture of this couple, and I seen an interracial couple, and I'm gonna show you just a picture of it. I'm gonna let you, and I asked them on their website, this interracial couple that's been together for 2 years. I asked the husband, when it came to his wife, when you prayed, did you seek God? He said yes. Now his wife is non-black, and I said, before you two got married, what did God say to himself? Of course, he's a Christian, and he said that he was, in his heart, he felt that he heard God said it was okay to pick the woman that would be his wife, who happens to be non-black. I think she's white, if I'm not mistaken. It depends on the individual experiences. You guys, even though that there's some truth to it, but it's like anything. People gonna do what people gonna do. People gonna marry who they gonna marry. People gonna. But it's good to see that there's both perspectives. There's two perspectives on this topic, and it's really, it's not just, not just white people don't have a problem with it. You got some black people that have some problem with it too. So that's why I wanted to make this video, and to get it from their perspective and how they feel about this topic about interracial marriage and interracial couples. Me, I mean, I gotta admit right now, I've been talking to some white females, but it was just talk, I don't know if it was going to get serious, but, and everybody has their own thing. Everybody have their own view on the topic. Well, there's no same-sex marriage. Everybody got their own view about it. You may not agree with it, but it's not. It means people are not gonna stop and see what's happening. But they're gonna do what they're gonna do. I see a lot of people bring this topic up on YouTube and videos, and I'm like, okay. Some people are gonna be for it, and some gonna be people gonna be against it. It is what it is. It depends on the individuals. Who you hang around, who you associate with, and I think that's what most interracial couples do. It all depends on who they're around. And sometimes, like it's in my family. I have a couple cousins that are in interracial marriages. They cool. I mean, we don't really talk like that, but I don't have anything against them. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, but you have people out here. I made this video because you need to get it from both perspectives. And I try to be fair on my video. Not one side, but the other side. But she's a considered black. Some people consider black women, but the Hebrews were like, they Hebrews, and they feel that biblically is wrong. So that's why I made this video. In any way, and again, there's what the voice of that pastor. Here's this. I'm gonna show you this couple right quick. They seem like a nice couple. Hold on, let me see if I get this. This couple right here. It's called Build the Faith. They're Christians. One time I subscribed to the page. This couple right here. If you can see them, and I'll comment on a couple of my videos. It seems like these are very nice couple, interracial couple. I asked the guys. I asked this young man right here. I said, when you picked your wife, did you pray? He said, yeah. So he said, yeah, ladies and gentlemen. That they've been together for 2 or 3 years. So that's their children. Seem like a happy couple. Now I'm going to show you another interracial couple. Because I always say that there's black men, but there's black women that are catching up in the interracial marriage, dating different men. Too. So it's a different perspective. I don't know what happened to that couple I just saw. It was an interracial couple on here. A black female and a white male. Okay. Black woman. Where's she at? Where'd it go? Just had it right there. But it all depends on individuals. It all depends on who it is. But again, everybody got to live their life. They're gonna have to live their own destiny. There's differences, but I think when it comes, I think it comes down to the perspective of the personality is something deeper. Because you can have someone of the same race and they can still be jacked up. They can still be jacked up. I just saw that couple, man. But that's that couple I was showing you about. And they're married. They're Christians. They believe in God. They got 2 or 3 kids, and they sound like a nice couple. And I gotta say, who am I? Dang, I just missed that. Anyway, so my perspective is, people gonna do what people gonna do. There's gonna be some people opposed to it. Then some people say it's biblically is wrong. But if two people really feel happy for each other, what can you do? I mean, people are happy for each other. They love each other. If they're willing to look past that, knowing that the odds are against them, that there are going to be some people going to be very, very nasty and about interracial marriages. sometimes, from what I've understood, and I've heard some white people say this too, that they get it from the white side more than they do get it from the black side. Even though some black people feel they kind of sneaky pick at it. But one thing about it, what I've learned, once that relationship don't go, and there's a union that, from my perspective, once that white female been with the black male, sometimes white males don't like that. Some white males don't like their women going out with other men. Especially they've been married to a black man or had baby with black men. Sometimes they don't like that. I met a woman one time that was like that, even though she never had a baby with a black man, but it's that her boyfriend was black. And buddy, her husband, who was white, found that out, and he was supposed to be kind of cool to me, because we kind of had talk and everything. But he let it be known, and she told me one time how he really felt. Because I had an argument one time. He said he just can never live it down that she laid up with the black man. This was in Cincinnati, Ohio. This was in Cincinnati. And I was like, really? I seen his name was Eric. I said, Eric seems so nice. He's a cool dude. I went to the ballpark with him, yeah, man, sometimes some people, they don't tell you that they're for it until they get one-on-one. And I'm telling you, if you're a brother, a black man, I don't know how it works out with your wife if she's white. I mean, take care, even with the black woman, take care of your kid and be your kid's wife, man, even if it's no matter if the woman's black or she white. Cause I'm gonna tell you something, man. If you're not in that kid's life, they might not think too highly of themselves. I've seen a case like that happen. So black men, we're talking even if you marry women outside the marriage, and if you decide woman, whatever race she is. Whatever it is, you come back and you take care of that kid, so he or she won't feel abandoned, because they're gonna raise that child in that one. They're not to see not two cultures. They're gonna raise in that culture. I've seen kids with mixed race just kind of look like, what the. Even though there's a part of their daddy who is African American is in them, but they take on that demeanor because they're around majority that atmosphere. I'm a big firm believer that in your interracial couple, bring your kids around interracial settings, big time. Let them see black kids, let them see white kids, let them see all kids, because if you raise them around a predominantly, let's say, white environment, I mean, they can pick up certain things, and sometimes, you get a neighbor or uncle or someone out there is racist as hell and start cracking jokes and cracking jokes and shit, and you're gonna kind of that out there. Hopefully, there's some of you that know people that you don't associate with people like that. But from my experience, that can happen. And from a black person's perspective, yeah, what she was saying, a lot of black people feel that way. There's some black people that feel that way, and you got some black people like, hey, it's cool, as long as you love who you love, because black people are the most accepting people anyway. But you got that segment of black people that just say, wow, why you do that? Why you like that? Because right now, it's and it's a curiosity. But some people just simply find somebody of a different race is they love. But I can't judge that situation because I'm talking to two females, and just feel not so much because of my complexion or I'm insecure or anything. It's just that I don't think it's with every black man when they marry or date outside their race. I think that maybe the women that they come across of their own race or their own origin never really appreciate them. They might think that they're geeky, they nerdy, or they talk too proper. See, they don't tell you about that part, and you can't help it because your environment, whatever environment you raise in, that's your environment. So you pick up that demeanor of the environment. You take a white person, put them in the black environment, they're gonna have that kind of, gonna talk like they got swag and everything like that. And they around mostly black people, they pick up the lingo, they pick up their mannerism. You put a white person around Mexicans or Asians, they're gonna pick up their lingo, they're gonna pick up their ways. I think that's just the way some people are, and it's the same way with the black guy. If he's raised majority or black female around white people, they pick up their mannerism. It's not that they're trying to be white. It's just that that's their environment, and they take on the environment because majority of their friends is like that. The majority of the place where they work and they go to school and their neighbors and their church is like that. It doesn't mean that they have self-hate, but if it happens that they're out there, why I don't see why a white person would get mad, because it's not like they live in an environment where there ain't too many black people out there. If you live in small town, rural town America somewhere, if you're a black man or black female, that's the majority of what you're around out there. So you go to church, that might be sort of mixed, and it might be kind of mixed, so it might be acceptable. But people are people. But then you have from a white person's perspective, from my experiences, that's like what I was telling you earlier. Then it's like I've heard that a couple of times, being around other white people where they feel comfortable in saying how they really feel about it, and some who oppose it and why they oppose it. And let's just say I wasn't friends with them no more because it was not from what that pastor said from a biblical perspective. They just didn't feel like black people is like the scum of the earth. Like you laying up, you laying down with bestiality or something like that. I mean, they have that kind of mentality. It's like, dang, and there might be some white people like he said, no, you're human, but there are white people around you that feel that way. There's some white people around you, and you start talking on topic like that, then you will see, boy, damn, yes. It's like some people I don't believe that they're like that. Like they've been cool, they've been our neighbors, we kids run together and everything. There are some white people are like that, and it's just that the topic never came up, and so when they finally boom, they just feel comfortable because you ain't black and you white and they're white, so they can say anything they want to say to you. You crack some barbecue basketball jokes and try and be like one of the brothers, you know what I'm saying? They mimic the rappers on TV, but in the end it's just sad. You're like, what the hell? I mean, but there's some people are like that. But when it comes to marrying, and let me say this too, it ain't just white people. It ain't just like she said. There's some Africans are like this that don't like African Americans. You got other races that feel the same way. I can't go into no Arabic family, no Pakistani family, no nothing. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it don't matter. You could be the same religion, but it's something. It's not just one culture. It's in other cultures too. They don't like to people don't. But in America, even though we're all united, and we unite on education. We get united when we get together in public. But when it comes to me beating your family and me taking and making procreating with your daughter, that becomes a problem. Because again, the way some people, a good percentage of not just these two races of people, the black and the white, there's other people, they look at the race like this. In America, some people come to America with this mindset. Black people are at the bottom, the other people are like right here, right here, right here, right here. You know, and then you see them, then TV has a powerful influence on it too. So when you see somebody black on TV, well, they got their pants sagging. I know that there's other people that do it too, but they put the image the black men on it. Or you see some black Americans, and you see that wild. Some people got that wild side to themselves. It's like, you stay away from those people. You stay away from those people, and then your daughter or your son brings someone home that look like someone from our culture. It's like, you got one of the wild people. I told you, because they're not educated enough. And even though we know as black people in America, we know that we got some smart people, educated, good personality, whatever. They see race. Period. They see race. It don't matter how educated you are. It don't matter how educated your black parents is. If you're black, it don't matter. Some people always going to see us the demographic with entertainment, and that's it. Entertainment, basketball, rap. They put us with the culture. Or having that rebel side to us, or the cops killing us. I mean, it's the truth. And because they feel like it's like we vindicate, like we the devils and demons of the land, whatever. And it's like with these racist people with this perspective. And racism is not just one nationality; it's among other nationalities of people that are towards black people in this hemisphere and other places. It's just black, even because your hair is kinky, because your lips are thick, because you have your own style, you have your own afro. And you have people just as dark as black people don't even like black people. You get some East Indians or some people like that. They don't want to be, like I said, they don't want to be wrong. And the reason why some people are like that is because of what TV media has fed them. So they paint a narrative. Some people don't know how to split the narrative of what it is. But there was some truth. But there was some. That's why I said get it from both sides. And there's a lot of people like that you would never. And see, we in the last days, people being exposed. For example, you know how, and I want to go into this topic about you remember the presidential race? You remember Donald Trump versus Biden, and how Biden accused Trump of being racist, and Trump did say some outlandish things. Trump did say some things. However, Biden did too. Biden made a law that criminalized black men with a harsher sentence than a counterpart of white males. This is a Democrat. Okay, this is a Democrat. But yet, both say both presidents, even though Donald Trump, vice president, wasn't black, but he nominated a black attorney, Ben Carson, and Biden nominated, that was on Obama's side. Then you get Kamala Harris. It's all political, people. But what the common is, whether it's from the left wing or from the right wing, they both have something in common. They both was around people that had high influence, who was next to Klan members, white nationalist members. Joe Biden had someone that he looked up to. I forgot the name was Bud something. The guy was the Ku Klux Klan. Then he tells black people, you heard about what Trump said, that if you don't vote me, you ain't black. And then it's like when it comes to doing the right thing, we'll throw some chings and chunks at you. No, you know it's gonna be up between you and this other group, the Hispanics. You know, and it's some black people okay with that. See, if Trump's racist, Biden's indirect racist, and it's like it's two older white males that have the same ego, and if you get them, and you was in their household, talk about different races of people, individual races of people. Trust me, they were both saying something long someone ain't got it on camera or on the phone. But you got some black people are so caught up when it comes to politics that because you know this guy, and then you got the black people and the Republicans. But whether a black person is Republican or Democrat, it doesn't matter, because it's like the way how this is. Some white people have what they call a Simon Says mentality. Some white people, not all. Some white people feel like this. Until I think you a good guy, you can be my one favorite black person, but the rest of it is lower than dirt. They're ignorant. That's when the N-word comes in. That's a fact. So if you oppose somebody, you're one of their favorite black people, and you might have a disagreement of view, they think you're an N-word. No matter if you Biden, no matter you Trump, no matter you Republican, they would never this in your face, because they don't want to be politically only around a few close. Now it's going to be becoming around a few close to their friends, because now if you put somebody, they don't know somebody how they view about race relationship. And see, one thing about indirect racist people, they don't want to be exposed. One thing I can say about Trump, if he racist in, you saw it, and you're like, wow, okay, I see where you come from. Well, at least he's direct with it. But it's the indirect people that the ones against the interracial relationship. Them the ones you need to worry about. Them the ones that smile up in your face. Oh, I ain't got nothing against because of people of color. I mean, you can be black, white, purple, and green. Well, piss them off. Let me tell you something. Piss them off, and then the person of a race, and that race will come right out their mouth. That N-word will come out so damn fast, because it's a mentality. It's a mentality. Some people don't have the difference between, well, that guy or that girl is just a jerk, even though they could be of a different race. It may not be in them to be like that. But some people, when they see black, they see the N-word. No matter what their political view is, no matter what it's in them. It's something that's probably was taught around their friends. It's taught around their family member. Some people use the N-word in mostly white environments. And I know there's some people that you do it. And if you're one of those individuals that you don't use that word around your kids, God bless you. But there's some white people, you're going to come across some white people that do. Wait till you go to a cookout or something. And you'll find out real quick, or certain things come on, or a celebrity, a black celebrity or something, or a black ball player or something like that. You find out real quick, Zandy, he's a son of a bitch. What do you look like, son of a bitch like is? And I mean, yeah, people see race, but when you confront them with, oh, I'm not racist, but you just got that saying something racist. There's a lot of people like that out there. Oh, I'm not racist. Oh, you have black children, their brains is about the size of a cube. Oh, I'm not racist. Well, the reason why they in the environment, it's just that maybe it's because of the welfare status of what that's another thing. Maybe because their upbringing or something like that. Oh, but I'm not racist. Everybody got some form of racist. I'm convinced that there's some people. It's not just, again, what they paint the perception on what they see. And you'd be surprised. You could be your best friend with somebody, and it never came up till you finally find out. If you see an interracial couple, so what do you think? And that's when you find out. I know you thought that way. We've been friends for all these years. And yeah, I'll come across people like that. Yeah, but getting back to what that video was, as long as you ain't around with ignorant people, be discerning. Be discerning. And no matter what race of people you are, be very discerning. Because people who are having indirect races, they don't matter if they're Republican, don't matter if they're Democrat, they left wing, right wing, anything. The left wing, it's coming out. I don't care if they, and sometimes really they can be drunk or just mad or some kind of emotional stage, and you hear it come out. Sometimes it's when people who are indirect racists, and they're like, no, that's not true. But it's like, well, what about equality, about reparations to people, to the African American community, like you do with these other communities of people? Well, that was just the past. Well, that was the past with the other races and group of people too. But the wrong was made right with the help of their families, the boosted community, the Latino group, and this Asian group of people, the Native American group of people, the people with the Holocaust victim. I mean, it wasn't really that's just the past. Why don't they just get over it? But when it comes to the people that took on the most horrendous things in history and still considered 3/5 of a human, and still because of their hair texture, because their lips and their hair and their skin, well, that's just a whole different ball. Well, I thought you wasn't racist. Well, can't you guys just get over it? But there's still George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Tamir Rice. It's not that serious. But I understand what you're saying. But there's people still dying. Not that it's not one race versus another race is doing this. Because black people aren't have different point and end up violent and end up. That's true. However, you can say that about the other nationalities too. But when it comes to law enforcement, its mentality is the pain that don't see the age, the gender, the disability, the age, whatever. They black, deaf, and that's just what it is. With some, not every cop, not every law enforcement, but there are some police officers, and the suspect happened to die in custody, that he resisted arrest and ended up deaf. And this is not just, and it happens to a couple sprinkle other people, but these people who are black is happening at a higher rate than any other race of people that's in police custody. And these are people who never had a record. Black people who never had a record, who wouldn't fight back. They're just scared. They wouldn't fight back. They might just ask why. Why are you doing this to me? Sir, this is not right. But it's like it's what you see in the present came from the past, because it was the same way when black people, the ancient, the ancestors, when they left slavery, and black people taught this, that it's like they had the permission to be a human being to walk the United States. you couldn't just get, if once they was let go free, you couldn't get a job when you was a vagrant. You was a vagrant, so you had what they call slave patrols. Where's your papers at? It's like they do with the immigrants now. Where's your papers at? And so a lot of people, they would arrest them up, black people, and put them in jail for lottery. Put them in prison. There's a black couple walking through the neighborhood. So this is thing that they just pop off like this. This stuff been happening for a long time. So maybe from a black person perspective, that's why they could be. That's why they look, some who are against interracial relationship could be because of that. Because the people who look like the opposite, who we've lived next to for 400 something years, 500 something years, there are some people of this group still think that, Simon says that you have to do as I say, because it's mentally with the slave movies, that's what it was taught. And so that showed that to other people, and it keeps some people look like me down in my own place. So that's why some black people don't want to see interracial couples together, because that constantly remind them with some people, even though there's been some white people that did some good things and still ain't by black people who died trying to be, but it was a small percentage of what did. But it's just that it always comes back to, but overall as a society in this country, America sees race. A good percentage of people in certain positions in the government, local, state, whatever, see race. Certain people you work for, certain landlords, certain places you go, certain banking system, see race. Healthcare system, see race. And they'll be like, black people, why chance out of 10 won't pay their bills, and they're paying it. I'm not being racist. And put everybody in a category. I'm just using it as an example of why some black people don't like to see from their perspective. It's like, well, damn, if I'm just a curse to you as a skin, why you keep coming around me? Why you want to, and why you trying to lay up in the sun? And get your list of talent to make your dicks like me. But yet, you is laying up in tanning beds in the summertime, laying out there in the sun, almost getting skin cancer, melanoma, putting collagens in your butt because you're trying to keep with the Latino and this black woman over here. So it must be something. There's like you got somebody saying, damn, maybe I could be first rapper. It's like, okay, but I like the way those black people move, but they the same races. These are the same racist people. Go back in their video, they was making probably talking some jokes. Why is that? Why is it that you despise those people, but you're trying to be like the people you despise? And then you say, well, we can't have it in our family. It's insane. It's insane. We don't like those people. Like, see Jamal on TV. I know what they do. I see them coming down there with their pants sagging on their butt. I told my daughter, stay away from those people. But yet, when a celebrity comes into town, basketball, rapper, whatever, you all up trying to be their friend and everything, hoping to get their autograph. There's some people who have the indirect racism, not the people who are direct racism. Now, people who are direct racism, look, I ain't going around people. I don't want nothing to deal with those people. But it's the indirect races that they try to play both sides. You know, they ain't the ones that sneaky. The ones that just like, look, we white nationalists, we scheme, we don't believe in race mixing. That's it. No, I don't. I can understand their perspective. But why is it that you got the white guys or white women that are that are indirect racists, and then they get mad with the ones that are directly racist and say, look, you know, it shouldn't be that way. They inwards. Or you don't know what to give and start making jokes about. I don't know what do they eat. Give them some chicken and some watermelon. I don't know. And you got somebody. I mean, it's the truth. But that's the indirect racist. So I can't believe you said something like that. You know, like what happened at IKEA. It's the truth. You have indirect race people, and they're like, how did? Well, I didn't know I was being racist. And the racist people, yes, you did. You said the same thing we was talking about, crack about it when we were sitting drinking beers and having to talk about that in our backyard. Come on, man. But one thing I say, I can deal and like I can deal with a direct racist person. At least they're honest with it. Like, no, I don't believe in race mixing. No, you know, I don't like these other racist people. No, because as long as they're not in my camera view and I'm not never next door, I'll separate myself from them. I can respect that. But it's the indirect racist person is they're racist, but they can't. You know, they don't like black people, but they still live around black people. If I was, I don't know if I was and I'm particularly saying this, but if I was a racist white person, I would stay far away from every race of people that it is. I would find the whitest ass town in America. Why'd you move out here? I don't want my kids race mixing. Let's be honest with it. And they're like, what are you going to bring home? And just like you got some people like that pastor. At least he's honest with it. I agree, but you got a lot of indirect racist people, or just as racist as the people who are racist. But it's just that they just haven't popped off yet. That's why. And then when the people who neither one could be the same race confronts the indirect racist, they get super emotional. You know you're racist, right? Oh, no, I'm not. Why you saying that? Well, I have a black neighbor and he hurt me. Get a black neighbor and heck, they'll watch some African Americans on TV. Well, I got a black co-worker. Well, that's nice. That's nice. You got a black co-worker. Well, his name is Frank. Yeah, Frank. Yeah. But some people are just racist, man. I'm indirect racist. So I try to stay away from the indirect racist people. Until otherwise, they got to show me they're not indirect racist. Because they're just as bad as and that's the same thing I was saying about the racist people are actually racist. The indirect racist is completely denial. So if you don't call Donald Trump a racist, you might have to stay away from Biden because they both agree. And just because he's around black people and it's a photo shoot, Donald Trump did the same thing. He did the same thing, and in fact, he was able to go and willing to talk to the black community and say, "Hey, I said you got this problem. Come with," but the Black Caucus in Washington D.C. didn't want to meet with Donald Trump, and there was some black celebrities that did want to meet to see what he got to say, even though. Yeah, there's some white nationalists that follow him, but at least he was willing to talk and say, look, there was something in Donald Trump that was at least let's sit down and talk. And if you compare the two, Republican, Democrat, they're both part of the same club. And they use black people as their own, like chessmate when it comes to race relationships. Chessmate. Well, I got a black friend. Well, Well, so did he. Well, I elected the black attorney general. So did he. It don't matter. It's the same thing, but they still could be racist. Hello. Hello. It's been going on since history. It's always been like that. Even during the time, I didn't even know this till one day someone pointed this out in political. Like Lyndon B. Johnson was a Democrat, and after it was at the jump Kennedy. But when it came to the voting right, he said this about black people. You can do a video, you can look this up on video. He said as long as a Democrat, because at the time there was that the two party switch. I'm sorry to go to a different topic, but I'm pointing this out for a reason. He said that he was a Democrat. Lyndon B. Johnson was the president in the United States. Said we'll have those niggers voting for the next 100 years. Now this was a Democrat, and right now you got people who are black Democrats who's up under the same system that it was as racist as Democrat, who just as probably just as racist as Joe Biden, just about racist on the other side as a Mitch McConnell or Donald Trump. That's why I don't vote. That's when it comes to voting. Why are you arguing over something? Stay independent. Why are you gonna vote for somebody that's do the same thing? When they see black people on TV in their household doing something or something, it's like, good. Those are people, put them to death. This is what they. So what difference does it make? It don't matter as long as they're not procreating. They did this like Hillary Clinton. She promoted Margaret Sanger in Planned Parenthood. Planned Parenthood was to slow the Negro race down, black race down in America. But black people voted. But she was a Democrat. Her husband was Democrat. But there are some black people that hate themselves. Don't even think about this. They argue in their household over Democrat. But at the end of the day, you're black. You're black. I got a Harvard education. Well, my daddy's always been a businessman. Hey, if you got the skin to ask the people in Tulsa, Oklahoma, because they were educated, they were farmers. Some were poor, some had education. But when the black men was lying on the black men, the whole town burned up. And they were good black people. They were black people that was that paid their taxes. There was black people that did something like that. What is I'm saying? It doesn't matter what your education or your background level is, and what I agree with her, you still got them at that same level. There will always be some people, whether they're racist or they're indirect racist, will look at black people the same way. And there might be a certain percentage of people, of everyday people, that are not, they don't care either way. But believe me, if you never been around the indirect racist people, and you of any race, you're going to come across them. I guarantee you. Whatever town, whatever city you live at, just sit down and have a conversation with them. And you just and someone outside the norm of an athlete, a black athlete, a music star, anything. You'll find, trust me, they'll pop up. The insecurity, jealousy, envy, jealousy, insecurity will pop up in some form of fashion. Trust me. I have seen it all my life. And so I say this to say that, to wind this video up, the reason why black people are against it like white people is because of the history. White people see black people this way, react to what white people say this way, and say, hey, you're marrying the enemy. Bottom line, why do you want to do that? Then other races say, yeah, can chime on in and say, yeah, we don't want the blacks in our family either. No, I don't want to prove my daughter, my son marrying a black person. And it don't matter what other race of people it is. It could be in Islam, it could be in Hindu, it could be in some Christianity. They don't want you. They don't want us in their race. Especially in this country. I don't know about over in some other places in the world, but in this country, People see race, and they see race, and they will let you know in a subtle way. If you are in the red couple, you're gonna see it in some kind of fashion. They know how to put on the face. People know how to put on the face. If you are part of an interracial couple, so you're gonna see it in some form or fashion. Whether it be black, whether it be white, or whether it be probably another, they know how to smile. Go, yes, how you doing? Oh my God, she's with that Jamal, or he's with that Tanisha. Telling you, I'm educated. It don't matter. Racist people who are racist show their face. Indirect racist. And it's like even when you look at these demonstrations, it didn't matter because whether it was left wing, right wing, Republican, Democrat, because at the same time they're going back to the same neighborhood with two opposing views. Black Lives Matter because it was a white female in a company was behind it that funded Black Lives Matter. That's why he supported Black Lives. They didn't care about Black Lives Matter until George Floyd had to go on camera, and the whole world had to see this man choked out. And there's some people even in this country still mock this death. They mock this. Oh, let's do the George Floyd challenge. You got that knee on the hand. It's true. There were people mocking George Floyd death. Most that were white. Some that were white, they did this across the country too. So, the only way Black Lives Matter is because it was brought by the LGBT community, backed it up, and they used 3 black women that were LGBTQ. That's all it doesn't matter. That's the truth behind that. Because Black Life was already leading to Tamir Rice, you name it, Freddie Green. Fernando Castillo. We go on and on and on. Black, white, and media, the ones that were teachers, and some of them were criminal or street gang members. It didn't matter. No matter what, they were a black male. Didn't matter what their occupation was. It didn't matter what part of the country. It was because they're black. And when it came to black women, some black women they weren't loud and obnoxious or criminals because they popped out 100 babies. They don't care about that because black, white don't matter. See, black, white, we just gonna keep throwing chips at the African American community. As long as we keep, and as far as they're concerned, we can keep putting it there. It don't matter who's the police chief. It don't matter who's the president, who's the police chief, whatever. Racist people in high government gonna keep doing racist shit. And still after that, since George Floyd, there have been more black men, black women, and black children have died. And some people were indirect, and the indirect racist is doing it just as well as the people who are directly racist. Now you indirect. First it was the direct racist people. Now you have the indirect racist people that's trying to hide. And see, what happened was why some people mad at Trump, because he broke the code. See, this is what he broke the code of race. That's a factor too. He broke the code. And see, there were some people who were white that didn't want him to break that code. That guy's just like, hey, I need you to shut up. We can still be racist behind the scene. But now Trump is like, nah, I'm gonna tell you whatever is on my mind. But Biden did the same thing too. But overall, this is to wrap this video up. Everybody sees race. Other races that come into this country see race. They don't want to be a part of us. No one wants to be a part of us. They don't mind making money off of us, but they don't want to be a part of us. Some of these other people, some of these individuals of different nationalities, even if they look dark in my complexion and look like me,
That's the truth, and that's the truth that they don't want to tell about. See, and that's why I say, no matter what, if you're a young person, no matter it's commercialized, wait till you sit down with an individual. Wait till you go into the environment. Wait till you go into the business, and you will see. When you blame your friend Jane or Frank or Jamal in the business, they look like me. Wait till you see it. They're going to watch him. Because these are the dark people that know to steal when they break into your store. It's America, baby. It's America. And some people don't want to hear this part about America. But no matter if it's a Trump or no matter if it's the Biden, no matter if they're the Democrat or the Republicans, don't matter if they're white, because they both use black people as tokens. And he said, wait a minute, we got a black friend here, you can't call me a racist. I got an Asian female here, you can't call me racist, but they can still be racist. They can still be racist. And this is what all racists don't understand this. A racist can still be a racist now. He can still go into hiding. What you seen in the conflict, what happened January 6th, that was a racist conflict with the racist people is going after all people, even in the indirect racist people. That's what the Capitol was about. That's why I said, black people, you have been vindicated. If you're African American, don't matter what your lifestyle, you've been vindicated. Because now we see this. This spirit has always been in the land. It's always been in the land. When it started getting, oh my God. When it started, it's been like this for 400 years. Ask anybody, look at your history in America. It's been like this for 400 years. Race riots, political riots, mostly race riots throughout the United States. Going back to the 1800s, all the way up to now. Somebody was misled. Somebody did something, told a false narrative, shooting to death. Death came throughout the United States. This is something that they don't want. They don't want to talk about this. How are you supposed to heal a nation and you don't want to talk about this? How are you supposed to want race relations and you don't want to talk about this? You don't want to repent. How you think race relation and you can't commercialize it and wheeze it down whatever to the people you still despise. And the only people that despise is still to this day that we almost like a prophecy is black people. We're the only people that people can love you 1 minute, but they can think that you're worse than a roach the next. When you have your point of view, that's the truth. That's the truth. Not everybody see you as equal and love you and whatever. They tell black women what they do with their hair. They tell black kids what they do. It's the truth. So it is what it is. But I'm sorry to rant and rave like that. But I just wanted to show you from different perspectives that the indirect racist people is against interracial relationships, well as the racist people. It doesn't matter. Don't matter. Because why would you want something that's at the lower of a totem pole? Don't matter if I was a college graduate, no matter if I'm in the business, it's the race, it's the skin color. It's always going to be skin color with some people. It's a fact. They won't tell you this. See, indirect racist people don't tell you this. Just sit down and have a conversation with them and listen to them. So that's why they don't want people in the family. And the reason why I use all the different talking points to kind of try not to go too far and bring it back, because no matter what your political beliefs is, no matter what your spiritual belief is, no matter what other race it is, there's a totem pole effect. And the blacks, no matter if they're on TV, basketball, football, whatever, doing whatever, they still say we got our foot on their necks. I don't care if they make $1 billion. We still own them. get out of line, because we'll take it away from you. You're not free. It's an illusion that you are. You can be anything you want. You can, depend. But when the people control the 7 sources, you can only go so far. Well, anyway, I'm sorry going on that route, but I just want to address this video. Alright then, you guys have a good day, good evening where you're out there in the world, the USA, video land, whatever. You guys take it easy until next time. My name is James, and that's my perspective. The reality, you need to get it real and get it from the whole perimeter. Not just one side, not just 2 sides. The whole thing. The truth and the real truth. Because people won't tell you this. They wait to tell you, you finally get behind your back. Or you just catch them in the wrong day on the wrong mood.